Hey, how's it going YouTube? This is SilverBeanie here, bringing you guys week 4 of the UBL team builder. CRYSTAL PALOSSANDS are this week taking on the Nijmegen Nuzleafs and Coach are the Matthic. And we are in for quite a battle. We are a little bit over our heads. We're currently rocking 0 and 3 at the moment. Coach on the Matthic is currently 1 and 2, so they've had one win, 2 losses. We are currently sitting at 3 losses in a row. We're not doing very well this season. But hey, you can only grow, you can only get better. You know, every match so far, I believe we've learned something. So hopefully we can continue to learn and hopefully eventually come out with a W. And that could be this week. So we'll see what we've got. I'm gonna go through my opponent's team now. He's got quite a scary team. We're gonna talk through it with you guys and let you guys know what we're in for. But up first we have the Hiram Black. That was his round 1 pick and very scary indeed. It is also his Z move user. Hiram Black can be typically ran specially or physically offensive. Not typically is it defensive, mainly offensive, but it's very scary. It can be all kinds of set. You know, this thing gives access to things like Fusion Bolt. You've got like Earth Power, Roost if you really want to go that far. You've got Freeze Shock. You know, it gets access to both. It gets access to. Reshiram, not Reshiram. Kyurem, not Kyurem. Oh my goodness, what the thing's called? Zekrom's signature move. So it's very scary. So we've definitely got to keep an eye out for that. Typically, this thing is like it's mainly designed to just dish out hits 24/7. Like, so to an extent, I'm more worried about taking a hit. I'm not too worried about getting a hit off. That's if you get what I mean, you know. So we've definitely got to be careful with this thing. It's also got Mega Sizzle. Mega Sizzle is very scary. Once it Mega Evolves, it gets Technician as its ability with base 150 attack, base 140 defense. Sorry, not speed. Wow, can you imagine it? Base 140 speed. Oh my gosh. No, base 140 defense. This thing is very scary. Again, its special defense is like it doesn't have it. Like from HP, base 70 HP, base 100 special defense. We've got a special kind of counter for this thing. I'm very excited to actually be using it. Overall, I'm not really scared about this thing, like at all. Like Bullet Punch is going to be annoying, but I'm not overly too worried about this thing. We've got a lot of counters for Mega Sizzle. He's also got the Sylveon. Now Sylveon is going to be a bit tricky to deal with. Sylveons typically run physically defensive, like maybe like an Assault Vest or something. I'm not too worried about this thing. I'm more worried about taking it out though, because it typically it stalls. You know, Wish, Toxic, Protect, Stall. It's just so annoying, and it's gonna no doubt happen at some point. So really got to keep my eyes on this thing. I need to get rid of it as soon as. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. Nidoking is one of the biggest hard hitters and one of the trickiest things that I had to prepare for. I'm not looking forward to taking down this Nidoking. I need to get rid of this thing as soon as. Sheer Force, Life Fall boosted, like anything, is gonna destroy something one way or another. I have very few switch-ins to Nidoking, like across my entire team, like across my entire draft, so it's very tricky to prepare for this thing. But I believe we got a few counters, so hopefully we can put in the work. But this thing is very scary. Now moving on to his Delmise. Delmise is his only Rapid Spinner. He has got a couple other like hazard removers, but this is only Rapid Spinner. I can see it coming purely for the reason of Rapid Spin. I don't necessarily like see it doing too much. It's very bulky. It's got base 131 attack, so obviously things like not Power, like Anchor Shot. No, Power. This is the right move. Yeah, it's the Grass type move, Power. So obviously also gets that Steel Worker, which basically makes Steel type moves Stab, which is honestly actually kind of awesome. It doesn't give him the Steel typing, but it gives him like Stab Steel type moves. So again, this thing could be very tricky. We haven't got a lot of steel weaknesses other than really our Tapu. So to an extent, I'm not overly worried about this thing, but it's going to be a bit tricky to handle. The Swallow is another problem. He's got a lot of heavy hitters on his team. He's got a very well built team overall. This thing obviously gets Scrappy, base 125 speed, base 85 attack, 75 special attack. This thing is most likely going to be Scrappy. Either like it's either going to be Toxic, like Toxic or Guts, or it's going to be like Scrappy Choice Specs or Choice Scarf or something like Choice Specs for a few rarities. But Boom Burst is a very scary thing. U-turn, Heat Wave, Air Slash, things like that. So this thing could be very tricky, but it's very important for us to get rocks up, and we'll talk about that in a little minute. He's also got the Alolan Persian. I really don't see Alolan Persian coming down. It could do, but I just don't. Overall, I just don't see it being a thing. It's, you know, it doesn't hit incredibly hard. It's mainly just a speed, but it gets things like Burcoat, so it can take some hits. But I really can't see Alolan Persian coming. The Milotic is honestly the scariest thing on his team. I really do not have an answer for Milotic, like at all. I need to get rid of Milotic as soon as, because this thing pretty much can wall me. We definitely got to be careful with Milotic. I really feel like Milotic could be the one thing that we do not take down. Like, it's just, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we've got to get rid of that Milotic as soon as. We got to get it toxic, got to get like poisoned or something. We got to get this thing down. So Milotic's very scary. Cute Charm, Marvel Scale. It's incredibly specially defensive, and obviously typically normally like recover like Toxic School, other things. So Milotic's very tricky. With Milotic and Sylveon in his team, this is kind of like, it's just nasty. That's just nasty. He's also got the Aselgor, another scary mon. Very fast. We can also set up spikes, but I'm not too worried about it because it can't really take a hit. But if I get rocks up, it's withered. I don't see a Aselgor coming, but it's there. Bug Burst, Focus Blast, Energy Ball, and a set. But overall, it could definitely do a lot of work to my team. But I just don't see it coming. I don't see it doing much work. It's got the Regirock, obviously his main physical wall. Stealth Rocks, obviously to stand set. Earthquake. Again, it's one of those things that just like you could bring that really just to kind of set the rocks and just wall me, but it's not too worrying because although it's got really good special defense, physical defense, sorry, special defense and HP aren't all the way up there. It's decent, but it's not going to do too well. And then last but not least, this is Electivire. Electivire is a very good last round pick that he managed to scoop up. I'm a bit worried about it. It's very fast, base 95 speed, base 123 attack. And this thing can be physical, special, whatever you fancy running, Life Orb, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, however you want to feel like running it. It's very scary. It's very tricky to prepare for. Obviously with Motor Drive, it gets, you know, any electric type moves, it gets boosted. I don't think we have any electric type moves being brought this week, so we should find in that area. But it's very scary because it hits very hard. So we've got to be careful around this thing. Overall, he's got a very well built team. So we definitely got to be careful with this. So let's talk about our team for a little bit. Let's talk about our team. Up first, as you can see, we are bringing the Chandelure. Chandelure, honestly, I think Chandelure has come to every single match so far, and we're bringing the same set every week. I want to try. I was originally going to run Choice Specs on this thing. I was running Choice Specs originally, and I did a few test matches, but I just thought it's not worth it because if he ends up bringing Choice Scarf, Nidoking, which I doubt, but he could, I can't really do anything. Plus, the Swallow wouldn't outspeed, and he's got a lot of speedy hitters. You know, if the Electivire's Choice Scarf, that I can't outspeed it, and I need Guarantee to outspeed things. So I just thought, you know what, Choice Scarf it's just too good. Choice Scarf Chandelure is honestly too good to not bring. I think we're bringing the exact same set as we brought last week. Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and Psychic. Psychic's there for that Nidoking. Energy Ball is, depending on the Milotic spread, it can then 2-shot the Milotic, most likely 3-shot. Obviously, we're most likely not gonna. We die to a Scald if it's got a lot of special attack investments. If it's not max special attack, we live just. So we'll see. But the plan is to really kind of just like revenge kill in a way with Chandelure. So we also bring Red Storm. Red Storm's making a second week debut. Mega Gyarados. Obviously, Mold Breaker. Standard abilities is Intimidate, but it's got Waterfall, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Dragon Dance. I was considering bringing Crunch. But overall, the only thing Crunch is going to do anything against is the Delmise, and I just don't see him bring the Delmise. I more see the Sylveon and the Kieran Black. But I put Iron Head on there because Iron Head, pretty much, as soon as I Mega Evolved, depending on the Sylveon spread, I will OHKO the Sylveon with Iron Head. And if I can get a Dragon Dancer, I pretty much OHKO the Kieran as well. So I thought Iron Head on this thing was too good of a move to not have. So we've got Iron Head instead of Crunch, and obviously Earthquake's there for things like the Electivire. We can 2-shot the If we get a +1 off, we can 2-shot the Scizor, and we can obviously OHKO things like the Nidoking. So Mega Gyarados is going to be absolutely amazing. I need to get Mega Evolution off and get a +1 as soon as. So hopefully we can get that off. But overall, I'm quite excited. We put 128 in attack, 124 in defense, and then 2. This thing really, I just need it to outspeed and just wreck lives. So I'm quite excited to bring this thing again. So hopefully you can put in the work. Also making its first ever debut is Rumpel, which I'm actually going to change the name to Mr. Gold. I'm going to do that now so I don't forget. I'm going to have this thing called Mr. Gold. But Mr. Gold is our shiny Krookodile, which we are going to be bringing. I'm very excited to be bringing Krookodile. We swapped out Gliscor last week for Krookodile. So we've got a new... No longer have Gliscor on the team. Instead, we do have Krookodile. And Krookodile is designed... It's also got Choice Scarf, but it's designed as almost like another Revenge Killer. If we can... Moxie Booster, if we can get come in, like when Pokemon's on very little health, we can go for something like an Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge, Super Power, whatever we fancy. Get a Moxie Boost, and hopefully everything on his team is grounded other than the Swallow. So depending if he brings it or not, we can just spam Earthquake 24/7, which ideally I'm hoping is my play. If he does bring the Swallow, then it's going to be a bit trickier to deal with. But it's overall, it's going to be really good. Hopefully we can get that attack off. Obviously max speed, max special attack, well, max physical attack. But it's just really designed to like get a Moxie Boost and sword. That is this thing's goal. So it's going to come in very late, and hopefully once this team's all chipped down, like 50% below, we can start chipping and start picking up some kills. We're also bringing the Spirit Vine. I think this is the first week Spirit Vine is coming. I don't think we brought it last week. We did. My brain is just not working. But Spirit Vine is our shiny Cradilly. This thing is my dedicated lead, especially if I see things like the Swallow. If I see obviously like the Kiram, the Selgor, like things like that, I need to get in this thing up. The only thing that would be a bit tricky is if he does bring the Delmise, because then this thing is kind of pretty much useless. Because the idea of this is to get Stealth Rocks up turn 1, because once Stealth Rocks are up, he has no way of getting rid of them other than he's got a few defoggers, and like he's got Mega Scizor and Swallow as defoggers, and with Rapid Spin on the Delmise. But I don't really see this thing being able to do being able to do much other than get Stealth Rocks up, maybe get a Toxic off. But it's got Seabound with Rock Slide purely just have something. But it's got Focus Sash, we can guarantee get those Stealth Rocks up. Max HP, max defense. We literally need to get those rocks up turn 1. Get out of there if we can. Otherwise, if necessary, sack it off. Like I'm gonna see how this works. If it ends up being the worst decision ever, I don't think I'll do another set like this where I literally have a dedicated, you know, like lead kill thing, you know, where I literally just send it out just to kill. I don't think I'll do that again, but we'll see. We'll see how it works, see if it works out in our favor. I'm quite excited to bring Spirit Vine. Of course, we're bringing Destiny. Destiny is type of Beanie. Moonblast Surf, Knockoff this week, and Himpow Fire. I'm very excited. This is actually a kind of a special set. Giving it the Babbery Berry, I think is how it's called, which basically halves the amount of damage from a Steel type move. So if that's Scizor, it gets a +1 Sword Stance off, like, or +2 from a Sword Stance. It goes for Bullet Punch on this thing. The Babbery Berry guarantees that we live, which means I can Himpow Fire and OHKO it. Especially if that Scizor is 75% or less. It's dead. It does not live a Himpow Fire, which is... We've got Knockoff on this thing as well, because this thing is also my dedicated switch in to Matthic. And because obviously because of the ability Mystic Surge, we can't get Toxic or Will-O-Wisp or anything like that. So we can't get Stardust. So we can knock off, get rid of the Matthic item, and start moonblasting for days. Surf is there for things like the Regirock and the Nidoking, just so we have something else to attack it. But I'm really excited for the Destiny. This set is honestly, I feel like could win my WinCon. It doesn't really do much to my Matthic. I mean, especially if my Matthic running a lot of special defense. Moonblast doesn't do a lot, but it does enough. Plus, if we get a chance to get a special attack drop, it means that Scolds are heavily. So we'll see how it goes. And then last but not least, we've also got a brand new team member, Breadknife, who is taken over from Scrafty. Now, Scrafty never once made a single match, and I just don't think it ever would. It's good, but compared to the rest of my team, it just doesn't stand out enough. Breadknife is honestly incredible. I'm so glad I managed to scoop it up. It finally gives us a steel type, which we did not have before. Gives me also another ghost type, which is nice. But Bread Knife is here. Recerasny, Iron Head, Sacred Sword, and Sword Stance. Obviously holding Eviolite. Obviously, it's the only thing really you give this thing. You don't give it anything but Eviolite. We've got max HP, a little bit in attack, tiny bit in defense, and then a little bit the rest in special defense. This thing is really also designed to get an Iron Head out. Ideally, get a Sword Stance up, and we can pretty much direct shot on most of his. Like Sylveon does not appreciate it. Even the Kiram does not appreciate an Iron Head. So we can honestly set up, and if we can get some serious hits off, we can do some serious work. So I'm very excited to bring Bread Knife. Obviously with that no guard ability, it's going to be a bit tricky to obviously put my opponent's moves because it can guarantee to hit everything. But obviously we can try and work around that. But overall, I'm very excited about this team. I feel like the trades between obviously dropping Gliscor and dropping Drafty were good decisions, especially to pick up things like Doublade, and I have had experience with Cooldown in the past with previous like Wi-Fi battles, and it's putting nothing but the finest work. Very excited to bring it. Obviously everything is kind of like, at the end of the day, a lot of Pokemon matches are kind of situational based. Obviously I've done practice matches with this team, and it's all situational based. Obviously you can never guarantee that the same situation is going to occur in the actual final match. It's all down to luck, you know. RNG is a thing, so we just got to hope that we can get the chance to, you know, get a Choice Scarf, Moxie boost, and you know, hopefully just up some sweeps. Hoping that we can pick up some good kills and hopefully come up with a W. But that's my team. Definitely let me know in the comment section if there's anything you would have changed. Let me know, you know, how we're going to do. Are we going to pick up a W? Are we going to flop and pick up our 4th loss, or are we going to come through and finally pick up our first W? I am hoping that is the case. I've got my match in about an hour and a half, so I need to get ready for that. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope you guys did enjoy this little team builder. Definitely hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new, and yeah, let me know if there's any changes you would have made. But with that, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm SilverBeanie, and I'll catch you guys next time.